Hi everyone, my name is Diane Hammonds. I'm currently a clinical intern therapist at a mental health outpatient facility. That's really wordy. But I get to do individual therapy with clients. I also have the opportunity to I haven't had the opportunity yet to do family therapy, but that's an option at my field placement. And I also do group therapy with individuals. My hopes for this course. One of the first things that comes to mind is I'm hoping to learn ways to manage my own internal emotional responses to clients who are grieving. I know a lot of times when we see people who are really sad or upset, a lot of us have that desire to fix, which is not necessarily bad, but it's also definitely not helpful to try to jump into, trying to fix and solve things for people, especially when grief and loss are such huge parts of the lifespan for almost everybody at some point. So I'm hoping to learn some strategies for how to, I guess, use that countertransference to my benefit and to the benefit of the client. I know in past courses, like we've talked about using countertransference as like a window into the lived experience of the client and using our own countertransference to educate ourselves on what the client could potentially be experiencing and what they're trying to communicate to us. So maybe a little bit of that is involved. And just I am interested in learning about some concrete strategies and interventions, and just trying to soak up and absorb wisdom from people who've worked with other people who are really, really grieving. That's not to say that I haven't. I guess what's coming to mind is like really intense grief, like maybe a mom losing a young child or really traumatic forms of grief, like victims of violence, and just interested in learning what professionals have to say who have experience working with people in those populations. And why is this relevant to my future career? I want to be a therapist. And like I was saying, grief and loss is usually a part of life for all people that walk the earth. Unfortunately, it's one of those static realities. But the way that people experience grief and loss is really dynamic. It can be different for everybody. So it's always going to benefit me to be able to learn about how people experience grief and loss, how I can be a more effective helper. And then even if I'm not a therapist in the future, I think it'll just benefit me in life in general. So I'm very, very interested to see what lies ahead for me in this course. And thanks for listening to me ramble.